So as soon as they open up the apartment, a remarkable thing happens. There's 4 or 5 goats there, and they joyfully run to Herschel and jump on him and lick his hands, and he pets them, and then he milks one of the goats, and he gives the milk to the Baal Shem Tov, who appreciates that, and he of course refuses any payment. After all, am I not a Jew who has to practice this great tradition of hospitality? But now let me tell you, says Herschel Zieg, a true story that happened. My wife, who passed away 10 years ago, devoted her life to helping the poor, the needy, the sick, and including mothers who had given birth, where she would bring them their meals and help them around the house. And then she suddenly died. And after the conclusion of the period of Shiva, the 7 days of mourning, the first 7 days of mourning, she appeared to me in a dream and said, Herschel, it's not like the Magidim, the preachers, because at that time it was common for preachers to try to scare people into observance of the Torah and saying what the punishments of purgatory were and so on. And she said, oh no, I didn't experience anything like that. I was welcomed by these ministering angels, and there were also to welcome me were all the people that I helped on this earth, and I was taken straight to a beautiful chamber of paradise and so on, and they told me this was all because of the help that I provided for the poor, for the needy, for the sick, and for mothers who had just given birth and those who had difficult time giving birth. And I want to tell you, Herschel, there are no words to express how much it is valued in this future world, the world of truth, when we help other people who are in need. And you should continue doing the same thing. And so what Herschel did was he went out and he bought these 4 goats, and he would earn money. And he continues in the first person, and I would give them the best food, and they had this very special milk, which I would distribute to the poor and distribute especially to the sick. And God always sent a full recovery to these people, and this is what I've been doing. And since that time, I've not heard from my wife until this morning, where she appeared to me in a dream, and she said, if you see a man coming out of shul today, you should welcome him. He's a special person, and through him, your salvation will come. And now the Baal Shem Tov knew the secret of the man and why he had merited to have this pillar of fire coming above his head. It was because of the acts of loving kindness that he did. He was indeed a simple person, did not know how to study, was not erudite, and prayed like everybody else, but he had pure faith and a pure heart. What happened then is that the Baal Shem Tov agreed with his colleagues, the other hidden tzaddikim, that they would take him under his wing. They taught him slowly how to read, and then the Chumash, the Bible, and then Mishnah and Talmud. And after several years, he became a very learned individual indeed, and he moved from Brody to the town of Ostropol, where he was also continued his activities as a tzaddik in his own right. Eventually passed away because his profound spiritual qualities were not known. He was treated like an ordinary pauper and given a burial by the local Chevra Kadisha, the burial society, and they did gather together a minyan, but something of a fury was caused in the heavenly spheres because this person was so great, and it was deemed an embarrassment and indignified that he was given such a small funeral. And indeed, there was a kind of what's called a kitrug, an accusation against the town of Ostropol and against the rabbi and against the Chevra Kadisha and all of the defending angels, because indeed God, of course, is the Almighty and the Infinite, but for whatever reason, it is said that he creates a heavenly tribunal, and there's prosecuting angels and there's defending angels. The defending angels were not able to adequately defend them, and their fate seemed to have been sealed until none other than the soul of Rachel Bas Leah, the widow of Herschel, came and defended them and said, look, they had no way of knowing that my husband was such a special person. Do not punish them for giving him an insufficient honor by his burial, because this indeed would be a punishment for my husband as well, that someone else is suffering on his behalf. And the argument was accepted, and Herschel joined his wife in a very honorable position in Gan Eden, in paradise. And so they lived eternal life together, thanks to their great deeds on earth, their great deeds of kindness, and the city of Ostropol was spared, and everybody lived happily ever after. And of course, the main point of the story is exactly what it seems to be, the greatness of reaching out to help others, and how this brings a person extraordinary spiritual and material gifts, even if he is unable to connect to God in the more traditional ways of prayer and Torah study. And of course, those individuals also have to do chesed, must also perform charitable acts. But sometimes we're unaware of how powerful that aspect of Judaism is. And that's exactly the point of the story. And a Shabbat Shalom to everybody.